you ready for the package source? All my Reddit friends are coming over tonight. He left. I think he went out that way. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go over compiling GLU. It's part of the Mesa family of packages that are usually separated. This is not an issue for anybody who uses Haiku ports or porter. So in this instance, package source sucks, but I'm gonna show you how to get the whole thing built, and who knows, I might have some information that might help in some way to build more stuff, or even for Haiku porter. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so first of all, what did I do? Well, I downloaded the source code. I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to go over I haven't solved glut yet, but I have solved glue. And then I'm also going to write. I'm going to try to compile some stuff I've never tried to compile before. I'm going to look at a summary I made of the errors that are in the window manager category, and then I'm just going to kind of do a dry run and just demonstrate like what I do, you know, when I'm at this stage of the whole thing. So without any further ado, let's take a look at what's in the glue. Overview. I haven't made patches yet. These are just the files I've changed. Okay. There is a this is the most important file of the whole thing for GLU 7.11.2 from Mesa. It's called mklib. It lives in the bin directory. It's really a text file. And basically, I actually made a section for Haiku. Okay. But there was one that was for the BOS. I pretty much copied it, pasted it down, looked for words that included BEOS, and changed them to read Haiku. Now that wasn't the trick. The trick is, you notice here under the BOS, there's a line that says GCC minus no start x linker minus so name equals $ lib name, and then a path to b develop lib, etc. Now, if anybody wants to use Haiku ports, there will be a difference in where this minus L is. Basically, you're going to be looking for boot system, or actually whatever way they have it laid out in Haiku porter. The packages .self, I'm still not too familiar with that structure, but you're going to want, that's going to be the difference, okay? But notice here, this says shared. It doesn't say minus no start. Now, here's the deal. This patch is only going to work for GCC4 unless for GCC2 that minus shared needs to read minus no start, because for some reason, and it was a miracle, I was searching and someone happened to have a conversation on IRC a couple years ago, and one guy asked, kind of thought out loud, didn't they change the no start to the shared option in GCC4? I looked at it, go, well, let's try it, and I tried it. There it was. So that answered, because it wouldn't build. There was an error that kept coming up basically GCC didn't know what to do with that command, so it just never really linked the libraries to the executables. GCC4, and since I'm using GCC4 only, it's kind of like I'm exploring. I'm trying to look into new areas to go where no compiler has gone before. Which probably isn't true, but it sounds good. So anyway, so that's the difference there, and I think there are other differences that are like that I've yet to discover or find out, and that's pretty obscure. I don't know where I would find that. That's good to know. You know, if I have something that doesn't link up to a library, maybe I should look and see what. And this is different because it's not really using a Makefile. It's got a script called mklib. Okay, so that was the major thing. And then did I do anything else with the libraries here? Now the only libraries I have, I did put minus library standard C++. I added that, and I added minus library network to the whole, you know, Fantastic Four of libraries that are going to link up here. And I think that's all I really did. So I just added this stuff here. That's in the bin directory. In the configs, I actually made a config for Haiku. So I may have actually did, because I'm going off memory. I could be wrong, but I don't think that there's actually, not that it matters. Over Haiku ports, it's just a label, but I think they're still using the BEOS config versus a Haiku config, so it makes it a little more difficult, but it worked. So in the Haiku config, I don't think I did anything that's earth-shattering. I just said, hey, we're going to call this config Haiku. And I didn't. This is for the PPC platform. I just left that alone. Although actually I don't. Well, there might be a Haiku for PPC. I'm not sure. And so that's all I did for this one, for the actual Haiku config. Everything else I kept the same, assuming they'd be the same because we have the BOS compatibility. Okay, over here. And notice I still have the minus LM and the minus LP thread. It doesn't matter because I'm setting those out. My mastermake.conf will search and destroy those extensions before they try to build. Somewhere in here I remember specifically. I even have some, it looks like maybe even some redundant links here, but whatever, it works. I've got two of these boot home package configs, and I'm out through this slowly. If anybody's struggling with this, for whatever reason, they could look at it, push the pause button, maybe get their answer. Because I think I was, actually, for a little while there. I don't think I changed anything on the bottom here. That's why I'm kind of going faster here. Except for maybe the boot home package include. Don't know why I need that 3 times. I probably don't. A lot of this stuff is stock. In the source directory under glue under SGI, I think. Okay, this is where I was having. I think I was having some trouble getting some of the headers to actually pav. Don't think I have. Here's the problem that now I now realize. So although you certainly can install packages you build into the non-package directory in home. And this is a side comment, but it's important. You can't actually copy the headers from boot system develop headers and put it in your own place or an equivalent inside of the non-package directory, because the compiler won't find those things. So I think there was a reason why I had to have the specs on for GLU. There was some kind of header issue. I think I'm pretty sure the BSD header. Sorry, I got asthma right now. The BSD header, I think it was STD. I just get the idea I had to. I'm actually not sure what that's. The only thing I don't know is whether I use specs or not. But basically, if you're trying to compile this and it comes up, this function was already defined over here in the BSD header, then you're going to have to figure out how to not include those BSD headers. And the only real way to do that is one of two things: is copy down the headers into your source directory, or create your own header directory and override the specs, which I've gone over before. So I'm pretty sure I had to copy in some. I'm not even sure of that. I'm not quite sure of that. I'd have to unzip the source. In fact, I should probably just do that. Guys, this is bad asthma right now. This is GLU. Of course, this probably still has everything that I built last time. It's in the libnerbs interface directory. Okay, you know, I'm gonna go in here because it doesn't matter. That's kind of important. I mean, you'll know at the time if you're compiling and you get some kind of, and this is GC4, remember. And this is a nightly from around July of 2014. Okay, there we go. Not the most coordinated person in the world. So, once this cleans, I'm going to do bmake extract and go into the directory and see if these headers are there. So I'll know whether I copy them in or not. But I don't think Haiku comes with Mesa type headers. That's the thing. Now I do have a Mesa build. I have a Mesa installation. I might have got it from there, or maybe I'm just. These were all the things that I had to change. Though the reason why I'm saying this is every file that's in here, either I had to change it, and the dates don't seem to indicate that, or I just had to simply put them there because they weren't found. Alright, bmake extract. Why is it I always get thirsty after I start this? I shall return. haven't rebuilt my Python since I rebuilt Flex, with it being patched and with it being able to build a few more packages than the way it was before. So and not having that strange number error. Now, if you're wondering if this is like the first video you're watching, when you try to do this, you notice that it won't even get to the part where it tries to override the tools or get past the extraction. It'll fail here. And the reason for that is that there are hard links in the source code for this particular version of Mesa libraries. And so the tarball that you end up downloading, you actually have to somehow get it out of your Haiku system. I did a video on this for Mesa libraries. FTP it up, bring it down somewhere else, unzip it, and rezip it back up with it using the hard dereference option to take the hard links out of it. FTP it back up, FTP it back down, or email, or whatever way you would be able to get in and out of Haiku. There's not a lot of options. And then put it back in desk directories, and then it will extract without saying, can't do this or that. A lot of the time, the solution for some of these ports is just simply doing that. There are a handful of source code tar files that have hard links in the tar file. So when tar tries to unzip it, it's going to try to create hard links, and then it errors out. This took an awfully long time to find out. Come on, Glue. And if it starts to take a long time doing stuff, the most effective way to get it to speed up is to kill the debug server or the CD database server or the print server, which I've probably already killed. Yeah, there it is. We're done. Okay. Let's go to the work. Mesa, was it source? Glue. SGI. libnerbs interface. Okay, yeah, I don't have. So I had to copy it. Now, where the hell did I get these things? Probably from Mesa. No, I didn't get it from Mesa. This is where I got it. Okay, these things come. Sorry, these things come with the distribution. With the source code, and they are in the include directory in the GL directory. So I had to get it to compile, I had to move these things from here up into so fine, yeah, I'm glad I looked at that. Into this directory here. These are the files that I added or edited. I think there were only 2 files that I've actually edited. Actually, just one GL mangle, and I think maybe not even that. What the hell did I edit? It's a GL interface. So this GL interface I had to edit. So what the hell did I do? Well, for one, I had it include locally without the brackets this GLH, this GLU.h, basically as I may have opened that thing. And there may have been if I don't mention that, that'd be pretty bad. There may have been somewhere in here where I had to actually... I've made my own shared memory header. Well, I haven't really made my own. Someone else made it and I kind of modified it. And I wish I didn't have to wait. I was busy last week, so I don't actually know whether I had to include that or not. Basically, I had to edit glmangle cc, and I actually think this is based on... This is why I want to have... This is probably why you want to have patches. Plus I'm tired. I probably was just messing with headers just to get them to get included here. Just copying it down, just following the error. Can't find this. Okay, bring it over. Can't find this. Okay, bring it over. Make sure it's all locally included. Stuff like that. And then the Makefile had to do one thing. Basically just had to make... I just changed this from BOS to Haiku here. I don't even know if that mattered or not, but I did it anyway, so I kept it. On the package source Makefile, did I do anything here? No, this is the Makefile. This is the what I remembered. I just added a line here. It said Haiku space /. So this is not the BSD Makefile. This is the actual Makefile for Mesa. So these are things I change within the source structure. Contents of the bin directory, make library. Contents of the configs, autoconf and Haiku. Contents of the source, SGI. Makefile here. What do I have to do here? I think it's something similar to that other thing. Maybe not. Just change it from reading BOS to Haiku. I probably, if I was a good boy, I probably would have had a second line for BOS or made it a conditional there, but I'm not all that sophisticated. And then I just made sure that the headers are actually being found locally. And that was almost it. And then at the end, it built. And the only thing I was struggling with for a while was that one part in the makelib script that's in the bin directory, where you have to change it from no start minus no start to minus shared. Maybe that's why they changed the terminology, because I don't know what the no start means, but I do know what shared means. So once I found that, everything built and it worked. I had this like in progress for a while, and then finally I found that answer. And so now I'm working. Oh yeah, then the last thing is that for some reason when Pkgsrc tries to build, it has a package list, and it expects these 3 files to be on the package list. And 2 of them are symbolic links to the first. This first one built. Are those actually broken links? Yeah, they are. Every time I copy links from one directory to the other, the links magically come undone. It doesn't happen in other platforms, but it sure shit happens here.
Anyway, I had to create these two symbolic links inside the actual destination directory folder from the actual, this is the actual library that was built. It's only 530K. And then that was it, because package source, at least on the package list, thinks there should be not just one library called libglu.so, but two others. And it's just a matter of making a symbolic link. And you can, if you want, right click on this and say create link in the current folder, and then it will. And if the package name is already there but it's a broken link, you could still create the link in the current folder. Then you could do a trick I like to do: edit the name, Alt-C, edit the name, Alt-V, press enter. Oh, what do you want? I want to replace the other file. And there it is. There's my link. And then it built, and I was done with that. So that was, I thought I'd broken through a major barrier, but now Qt for libraries has taken its place. Okay, so I've pretty much gone. I haven't solved Cairo yet. Cairo is one of these things I'm going to have to work really hard to get done, because I can't use the specs. Sometimes when you try to compile certain packages, they just don't know how to handle a passing of an LD flag. So it says can't compile C programs, and all that means is that it can't handle the specs or something else. So I had to turn those things off, and then so now it means I'm stuck using the headers that are in boot system develop, and I can't modify those. And then when it can't find the headers that I need, then I got to start copying them down locally and pathing them locally. Then of course the headers I copied down want to find other headers that are stuck up here in the boot system develop headers. Then it's more copying, and it could just become one giant, you might as well copy the whole goddamn set of headers down, but it still isn't going to path it right. You still got to put the quotes around everything. Alright, so I guess I'll do a little bit here in my Go Be Productive book. Oh no, in my cheat sheet, and I just went through the window managers, and there's some things I know were solved that I haven't really gone on with. So what I've done is I haven't done it for all of the categories. Some of these categories are thousands of packages large, with 300 packages unmade, and I don't want to make a notation for those to start with. But what I usually do is I actually look down at the errors and say, oh, I know I could deal with that. So here we've just got error number 2 and error number 3, or error number 4. If there's nothing else next to it, that means I really haven't followed up on that. So got all sorts of things I could try, but probably what's going to happen is it's going to want Cairo. Just looking and go, okay, I'll try that, and I'll try that, and I'll try that. And I tried them anyway. Even if I think they're all going to want Cairo, I still tried them. Glut's built. No, Glut is not built. Glue is built, but Glut isn't. Okay, so there's an 11 that's by itself. I doubt it. And I haven't labeled any of these. Because they all wanted that. This 22 is, you just got to put a 6 there. The 14 is just a matter of me having not turned on one of Dagger's options. So, this one's going to be easy, I think. Now the original error is Cant Find minus LC. And on a step-by-step basis, of course, it's one error at a time. It doesn't mean it's going to compile if we get past that error. Okay, so this is in the manager. I'm just going to look at the exact setting that Dagger has set up, that I've actually incorporated into my make.conf file here. Right here, where it says building transform LC root. What it means is if there's a library C, substitute that out for library root. Now, even though root implicitly builds, it'll build if the C wasn't exchanged for a root, it'll still build. But this is like kind of elegant the way this is being done here. And instead of having to, well, it's not a big deal. You can building transform minus rm colon minus lc and it'll work okay. But since this works fine too, I'm just going to use it. So anything that basically the deal is that a lot of these programs are looking for what's called the library C. Those functions were built into library root in BEOS, and there is no library C. It's just all part of library root. So what I'm telling the package source to do is, before it tries to start to compile and link to library C that doesn't exist and error out and tell me I gotta start over again, change the library C to library root so it will actually build. And these instructions get placed into the mix when it starts to create the toolchain wrappers and all that stuff. What the hell's going on here? Can't find LC. Why is that? I gotta make clean. If the toolchain wrappers already have that in there. And since I had that spec turned off, now watch, it doesn't work. Well, okay, and then I'll just do the building transform minus LC. And I'll stick with that rather than the C root thing. And you can tell when it tries to look for all the dependencies and things like that, you can tell you're starting from scratch. It's going to take a very long time, really could. I think I'm just going to do that one actually. So now we're overriding the tools. Okay, I'm going to go sleep for a little bit. And then when I wake up, I'll start talking. Nah, kidding. Alright, then I'm going to do some more reading in this book about audio. Stuff like that. There's one config file that couldn't find the timer. And I really like the fact he's talking about hpux, because that means he knows his shit. I've never used a debugger. Now, the only thing about this book, I guess I'll just talk about it a little bit, is it was written during a time when I think GCC had just been ported over to BOS, and the Metro compiler was being used all the time. I mentioned the Metro compiler when I talked about the header roots and the B includes. You know, there's a lot of header roots and B includes. We have more. We don't just have one header root. We have like, I don't know how many, 10 or 20, which is why a file in the BSD, even though I was told it didn't happen, it was gonna, or I should probably file a bug report or something. I don't think it has anything to do with the order in which they're read. It doesn't ignore the other things. Each one of those files need to have functions that don't overlap. They don't redefine each other. Alright, toolchain wrappers, let's get going. Quit the package daemon. And what the hell? Let's see. Quit the desk bar. Quit the desk bar. Yeah, I didn't do that. Syslog demons always get to quit. Come on, toolchain wrappers, big money. Let's go. Have I really added anything recently here? Now recently, since I'm trying to, it's gonna start building now. Oh yeah, I have actually right here. There's some of these programs when they try to compile, they'll say don't understand the R dynamic thingamabob that's incorporated into your Now, unfortunately, I don't have any more audio because so it's goal time. Goal. So there we go. I didn't patch jack shit. Now there might be some kind of linker error, but basically it's built. Not linker error, but symbolic link error, which happens once in a blue moon. But no, it worked. And ladies and gentlemen, there is your package. Add one more to the list. Count them down, so I have some prizes to collect on tomorrow. Some of these, now I'll just do some predictions here. As I said earlier, some of these 2s and 3s here. Oh yeah, eventually I'm gonna just make these text files public, okay, so people can see like what I did. Like if it has installed and a number to the right, it means I finally got it installed, but I had to do all this stuff that deals with the number at the right, the original error, and I'm just gonna let people have this, And then maybe a wiki can be made so people will know what kind of problems are going to come up when they look at their, when they go to do some of these apps. Because information is half the battle here. I wouldn't guess to think that I have all these apps I can try, since I've already made a full pass through this thing. You never know what's going to open up when you build one of the major dependencies. So these 14s are probably going to build. I wouldn't say all of them, and there's only a few of them, but it's nice to bag 3 or 4. And then these 2s and 3s are probably going to want Cairo. They're probably going to lead to QT. Now, another thing I'm also going to do this weekend is I'm going to end up looking at Diger's patches closely and looking at the changes that he actually made and making sure they get into the files, because they're not lining up. I know the code is good, it just doesn't line up exactly in the right spot. Probably because the files that he's trying to patch have also been patched by package source, and so kind of makes it difficult to make a patch when there's already a patch in place. And anyway, so there's a lot of patches to go through, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to build Qt4 this weekend, because I do have that. I'm in that situation right now. There's a few packages that want glut, so that's not really on my most wanted list, because I'm assuming it's going to build. But if it doesn't, then it will go on my most wanted list. I'm also going to try. Apparently, there's a port audio patch out there that's in Bitbucket somewhere, so I'm going to try that. I'm going to try the Library X font. I'm going to try to see if I can put a small, define this TOCAR function for ham library and get a bunch of builds from that. Maybe about 10. And Cairo, maybe I'll struggle through the header hell, and finally, through sheer determination that only character from a Batman movie the Penguin could have, I will hopefully eventually have a Cairo build. And then I'm just going to keep looking for common kinds of errors and try to figure out what they are, and then systematically approach it. So what I'll do is I have, as these lists get bigger, I have lists for a bunch of categories. So I'll go through them all. Okay, well, how many of them do I have that has this, Cant Find LC? And I'll go through all of them, and I'll look for them, and I'll try them, and then if they mark up the ones that build, and then if it doesn't build, then I'll just make a note of what the error is and go through it again and go through it, and it gets slower and lower. The numbers get higher and higher, but not too. It's a grind right now. It's not like it was before, where overnight I'd have 100 builds. Right now I'm going to get like maybe 10 a day. At least until I get a lot of these cleared out, if I ever do. There's no guarantee I will. And I'm not a coder. Don't know how to write code. And there's a few cases where I've just absolutely made some guesses. Oh man, what happens if I get rid of this line? Will it compile? Oh yes, great. All right, let's go to the next one. But I don't know exactly what that code did. So I also am going to rebuild Python 27, and I'm hoping I'm going to get a full and complete build for Python 27 that I can draw some conclusions about what needs to be done with Flex. Because when I built my Flex, not only did I use the patches from Haiku ports, but I also used the settings that were there for BEOS, and I got better builds out of it. Now, what I don't know is if I would have got even better builds if I didn't use the BEOS things, or if my builds are worse, or there's some difference, or stuff like that. So, and Flex is pretty. I think it's pretty major. It was having a bad or unpatched Flex build was really causing me a lot of problems. So anyway, I'm going to try to see if I get a full and complete build of Python with the rebuilt Flex. And if I do, then I'm going to actually going to know what's been going on and why people have been having problems with Pythons, because Flex isn't really being built and patched in such a way that we're getting good builds out of other things. I think that's all I really have to say. Plus, I'm ready to just go to sleep anyway. So, so right now it's just a matter, and then I gotta get SDL built or some kind of sound. I know there's sound headers in there. I've heard sound come out of this system before, and I'm hoping to be able to get some sound somehow. And I'm going to look at this. He's got a chapter on drivers in here, and some of the stuff is absolutely, there's almost no difference. between this book that was written and what haiku does now. Between this book that was written back in the hell year was this? 1998 and today. But when it comes to when he talks about things about the MetroWorks compiler and doing things with that, of course there are differences. Right now we're using GCC. The MetroWorks compiler isn't even used anymore.
POS and pause. Here we go. The latest This is the book they used. Okay, this is about POSIX here. The B team wrote the new POSIX libraries with a copy of the POSIX Programmer's Guide by Donald Lewine, O'Reilly in 1991. This means POSIX compatibility has been built in from the start, and the functions are no longer a user library instead of proper POSIX support layer. Library network comes to mind. Anyway, I'm going to do some more reading, and there's more I can learn from this book too. I mean, I get some really good tips out of it. And some parts when I was reading it, I was like, what the hell is this guy telling? I don't know what language this guy is speaking. And then as time went on, I was better able to figure it out. Alright, so that's it for now. I think, if I could stop this thing, I'm going to fall asleep.